Asante sana. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for inviting me to come here. This is a very emotional reunion for me. I was in the 12th Parliament with many good members here, and I really had a very good time for 5 years in the National Assembly. And I have not had time or the opportunity to interact with members of the National Assembly. I must tell you the truth, I really miss the National Assembly. And the ease of doing things, the comradeship, and just being there. Kind of life I'm leading is not a very good life. I must tell you. Everything is arranged for you. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't meet, you can't, I know, it's not a very enjoyable life, but somebody has to do that job. I really miss the very good arguments we had there at tea. The Honorable Wanjala here, we had very good conversations, and he was very pertinent on the issues of polygamy. I would go for debate with the Honorable Peter Kaloma, and we had good arguments. And during break time, off camera, he would agree with me on some instances. So I must say that you people have a good opportunity. Please do your job. And I want to say, truthfully, President Ruto and I want you people to oversight us and hold us to account. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I can tell you, this power that people are given, if you are not careful, it can get into your head. We want to be oversighted. You people hold us to account. You are paid to do that, and do it fearlessly. And I want to assure you that the Ruto administration is totally different from the previous one. None of you will ever be arrested by anybody for holding us to account. None of you will ever be subjected to audit of the NGCDF because of your views. Nobody. You people do what you must do, and do it without looking back. Don't look over your shoulder. We have made a conscious decision that for democracy to thrive in this country, we must let independent institutions operate independently and support them. Our officers of the National Government Administration and the police have instructions from the President and myself that respect of elected leaders is not negotiable. And it does not just apply to elected members from the Kenya Kwanza formation. Any leader, irrespective of the party, must be given due respect. And we have told our county commissioners, and I repeat when I'm here, you look for a working formula with elected leaders, because those leaders are elected by the people, and you have just come there to work, and you leave them there when your tour of duty comes to an end. And if for whatever reason you cannot work together with an elected leader, it is you to give way, because that leader cannot be transferred. That is the truth, and I've told them, and you know me, ni mtu ya kuongea ukweli. I've told them. And please, our ministers and PSs have clear instructions. Go to their offices and push programs and projects for your people, irrespective of the party you come from. All these projects are funded by the taxpayers, who include your constituents who elected you. Go to those offices, and the ministers, the PSs have instructions. They must serve every Kenyan equally. That is why the President and I took 3 days in Luo Nyanza where we were not voted for the way we would have wished. We were in Homa Bay, we were in Siaya, we were in Kisumu, because that is part of Kenya. And those are Kenyans who are there. And no Kenyans who elected us, who did not elect us, are people of Kenya. And there are no two presidents, there is one president to work for everybody. So we shall be coming to your constituencies, irrespective of where you voted. The elections are over, we are now working. When the time comes, another 4 years from now, we'll sort out each other in the normal way. And, but for now, we want to work. Good people, in your mandate is legislation. Make good laws. And when you make these laws, make them assuming and taking the position that they will be implemented by your worst enemy. That is the way to make laws. Some of us, we know that, because laws that we made were used against us. So please make good laws for posterity and take it that they can be implemented by somebody who doesn't mean well for you. I'll be persuading you shortly. I've been given a very serious job to deal with cartels in the coffee, tea, and milk subsectors. We have started consultations with all stakeholders, and there is a parliamentary caucus on tea and coffee. I'll be meeting you shortly, amongst other stakeholders. We will be proposing to amend certain laws, to create certain regulations, to make sure that the middlemen and the exploiters of the Kenyan farmer are removed anywhere in this country. When those laws come to you, please be patriotic and be sympathetic and have empathy for the Kenyan farmer who has been exploited by middlemen and cartels for the last 5 centuries. It's not a small job. It's not easy. You know, for those of us who are farmers, dairy farmers, and beef, you know, a calf, removing it from the under of the cow when it has been sucking milk is not easy. You are likely to get a very hard kick. So we are seized of the battle ahead of us. But we are not intimidated. We must free the Kenyan farmer from exploitation. And this will be achieved by enacting the proper laws such that even when William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua are retired, those laws protect the Kenyan farmer forever. And I can tell you why it has not been possible to deal with the cartels who have been exploiting farmers is because the leadership of the country for the years that have passed were part and parcel of that business. So there is no way they would have been on the side of the Kenyan farmer. For now, today, reforms in the coffee, tea, and milk subsector will succeed for one single reason, that William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua have no interest whatsoever in those 3 subsectors. Our only interest in the milk subsector is the amount of milk put in our cup of tea. That is our only interest. Our only interest in the coffee and tea subsector is the decision whether to take coffee or tea in the morning. That is as far as it goes. And therefore, I want to ask you today, when those laws, the amendments come, when those regulations come, exercise patriotism. Please sympathize and empathize with the Kenyan farmer, and let us put some money to the pocket of the farmer so that they can realize the benefits of their sweat. Finally, I want to talk about representation. Please, other than CDF, and by the way, the President and I, you don't need to talk to us about CDF. That is preaching to bishops. We know the importance of that fund. And without blinking an eye, I can say, the only real work that you can see when you go to the ground is the work done by NGCDF. And that is because it is only about 6% that goes to recurrent. Everything else goes direct to work. The President and I and the rest of government will be with you to protect that fund, whatever it takes.